everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Today, we are going to be looking at Chainlink against Bitcoin. Now, currently, Bitcoin is on a short-term downtrend. When we flip it to the day, um, we're to the wick. I mean, in reality, it's not that much. We're about 6% down, little less than 6% down from the wick up. This is to be expected, as at the very least 6%. And it's not like we haven't seen this before. 10% correction. I think it gets more and more exacerbated the higher we go. So and where we are, the closer we get to 20K, the more it feels like it's gonna continue, and I think the actual term is the hot hand fallacy, um, and also Richard Thaler, if you know him from from not Moneyball, but what's that? The Big Short, who he did a cameo on. Like he also talked about this, and I would say that's very true right now. Bitcoin has been on an increasing tear of 2, 4, 6, 8 green weekly candles. That hasn't been done in a while and has rallied to the wick 82.59%, which is simply phenomenal. And short term volatility from the uh, upside or to the downside of Bitcoin is going to affect altcoins, and Chainlink is one of them. Now, recently in my last video, I said that this was I would say is fairly significant for at least short term price of Litecoin for Chainlink, because we've been in this falling wedge pattern, pseudo wedge pattern here. We broke through it, came down, made its support, and then rallied up. However, this candle for the 24th was when Bitcoin started going the other way, and Chainlink got significantly affected, as did other coins. It is now uh, back in the wedge, so to speak. Yes. Um, I could argue saying like, well, on the weekly chart, it's still going. Um, who knows where it's gonna fall? But we'll definitely see. However, I would like to make some cases why I'm still confident in Chainlink in performing. So we're gonna flip it back to the week. We're gonna get rid of those falling wedge patterns here. Uh, Chainlink on the macro scale has without a doubt been a very good performer. We have in the past uh, um, came below this 20 week, here, and here. However, also here as well. However, it generally follows that trend and uses it as support. Currently, right now, we're below it, but if we'll see in the next coming weeks how this turns around. Um, we could see it in the same as the moving average from here, where we see the moving average starting to curve. It's starting to curve very slowly, and it's going to start heading back down. If Chainlink continues to be around this price, the moving average will come down. And the idea is that if it does rally, well, Chainlink's price is going to move up, moving average will come down, and then slowly start to reverse if Chainlink's price keeps going. When we look at the MACD on a weekly basis, we see that a majority of I would say these rallies here are in this area here. We have come down to that level. Just entered it now. So I would anticipate, along with the RSI, and I'll get to the RSI in a second, that the same kind of concept will happen. This is that MACD is mainly momentum, so this will curve back up. This will start to curve down, and then we'll have a MACD cross. and then momentum will swing back to the other side. Because we do see it happen. If I bring it out here, we do see instances where it does go below um, and swing back up all the time. It gets more and more intense the further we go, however, simply because of Chainlink's price. The higher it goes, the more drastic the backD will be. Um, when we look at the RSI, since 2018, we tend to trade along this RSI channel here with brief moments above it. But generally, it's around this level. We have reached that level on the RSI, and we look to see downward volatility at least go down. So if it starts moving sideways, or slightly up, we should start seeing a reversal going on. And these are the things that I try to look for in altcoins on a longer term scale. Now, this all comes with a big but. As great as Chainlink is, Bitcoin will still determine how Chainlink will move. And I will touch on this briefly. We talked about how the prior all-time high would give us some resistance. When we look at the previous run, we see numerous times here and then a rejection here of attempts to break it and then make it support. We made it support here, came back up, came back down, and made it support. So there was some extreme volatility, at least on the weekly time frame, of this happening. Another thing to note, when this happened, the 20 weekly moving average was a lot closer. Actually, not a lot, but it was a lot. It's closer and relative to us. When we look at what the moving average is to the candle body, at least from that point, was 37%. And obviously here when we got to this point, the weekly moving average had crossed at this point, was about to cross the prior all-time high, at least to the candle body. When we look here, this is where we're at. We are at a modest, and that's sarcasm, by the way, 50.55% above the moving average, weekly moving average. If we were to drop from this price, it would be a 33% move to the downside. Now, a move to the 20 weekly moving average on Bitcoin is always a possibility. Doesn't matter where you are in the cycle. It's happened numerous times in the previous cycle. We should then expect it again. So just because Bitcoin is on an 8-week green weekly candle run doesn't mean that we're going to see a 9th, doesn't mean we're going to see a 10th. And currently right now, we're flipping red to green, red to green, red to green throughout the day. This could be the first red weekly candle in a long, long time. So what I'm trying to say is, yes, I'm bullish on Link. Do I expect a possible correction? Of course. Why? Because of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is, I would argue, is quite overextended. On the RSI, we've gone to levels that we haven't been since the last bull market, and it's around this level. And you can even draw it as a rectangle, if you'd like to put some kind of like a range, because it's not a definitive level, but it's a band or like a cushion of a ceiling. We have gone to that level, and there are many arguments to say that this is where Bitcoin will turn around for the short term, perhaps even making contact with the 20-week. But um, that is to say, we simply don't know what will happen in the meantime. The greatest possibility for Chainlink and for other altcoins is if Bitcoin does manage to correct, it only corrects a little bit. And when I mean a little bit, 10, 15%, even 20%. As long as it's above a good distance above the weekly moving average, we're still good. And if it starts to move sideways, we're still good. That's when alts will pump considerably. And uh, say, as this hypothetical here, um, we start moving sideways on Bitcoin, we drop, we start moving sideways. At that time, the moving average will still go up, kind of taper off, and then make contact. Okay, this time before contact will be good for altcoins, at least temporarily. When it hits the weekly moving average, everything stops. But this is where the point of this is why you want your positions kind of ready in lieu of when we're this close to the all-time high, because once we break this level and then make it support, that's when we're theoretically off to the races. Um, when all coins are just gonna go bonkers, it's gonna be like 2018 all over again. Ethereum, I would hope and expect from the coin to start really pumping. Chainlink will be another that I would expect to pump um, in that regard. So uh, yes, we temporarily broke the falling wedge. That doesn't mean it's a sure thing. Um, However, it looked very bullish. We could still very well go back out of it in the coming days, but who knows? Right now, Bitcoin is deciding that it's time to go down, and it's deciding, like it was doing when it was moving up, deciding to take the whole market with it. So, what essentially should you do? Well, at least for Chainlink, at least for Chainlink, on a on a like on a price basis, guys, very little time has been spent, relatively speaking. There's more times Chainlink was above the 20 weekly moving average than below. You can argue that is a buy. Now, uh, could Chainlink fall even more? Of course it can. However, uh, if it if the theory of it holding, being below the 20 weekly moving average stays true, then this is a great opportunity, even if it dropped lower. And this is not financial advice, but when I look at this chart and I see that in the past, the longest time it spent was once, and it was here, and most of the other times was fairly brief. And every single time within Chainlink's relatively short history, it it moved out. I think we're good, and it's not like, and also it's a time factor as well. It's relatively brief. The longest time would have been, if we take it from this to this, or even lower. Yeah, we're looking at 70 days, less than 3 months. Uh, that's relatively not a lot of time, and I don't think that's a lot of time for myself. If you're really if you're trading if you're trading Chainlink or any other cryptocurrency expecting like a very very good return within 90 days, you're in the wrong market, or uh, I hope that you didn't, but you're probably really over leveraged. Because I mean that's one way to increase your ROI in a shorter time frame is to just leverage up, but that's not a good idea, and you really shouldn't do that. In my view, this is a good opportunity to buy, at least with Bitcoin. Chainlink on the USD chart is at $13. We have been going up ever since September, where we went from a low of $7.40, and we've been trending up. And even with the recent drop, we're still pretty up. And that is also another thing to consider. When you look on a 90-day basis, or sorry, like a few months basis, we're considerably up. Okay, we are considerably up, and as long as you didn't really buy within that top, which you could very well have been, I'm not too sure. Um, you're pretty good. There's the only time the only time in Chainlink's price history right now where you would have been where you are down money on Chainlink is roughly 105 days. Okay, which is not that long. Not that long. Anyway, that's really all I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.